Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. This video is gonna be a part 2 of Hate Has No Home Here. And the last one that I made right before the comeback on Overwatch, I had another video titled Hate Has No Home Here and stuff. And that video was one of the most important videos that I strongly suggest that if you're truly against Asian hate here, that is a video that I strongly encourage you watch because it's important because I talk about how hate is a real big virus here in America and that stuff. And excuse me. Um I explain how deadly hate is here. It's a deadly virus, and I also explain how can people actually, live with, hating people for the rest of their life. So, here we go. Let's get down into today's video. So, Joe Biden has passed the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act, and this act is supposed to set. There are going to be places that are, well, states, I should say, here in the United States, where there's going to be those places where you can report these kind of Asian hate crimes and that stuff. Now, I'm not sure about racism, but I'm sure that's going to be involved with it too. Because, like I said, hate is a deadly virus here in America. I don't see how. I don't see how you could just report on Asian hate crimes and not racism. I think it would probably work in both ways. Although, I'm not so sure that Joe Biden actually announced that you could report racism crimes. He just said Asian hate crimes, because that's what the COVID-19 bill is designed for. It's designed to let the law know that if there's an Asian American in the United States here, and they are being, harassed over COVID-19 or some other kind of situation, then obviously the person who is harassing the Asian American is going to face some pretty serious consequences. Because that right there, that is a very serious issue. what we really want to accomplish here in the United States, or so it is, or so, or should I say, our, or over there in the Senate and the White House, we actually want to make America a safer place here. And to do that, this is going to be one of those steps where as Joe Biden signed the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act, hopefully this is going to start getting people's attention that do these kind of crimes against Asian Americans, and also racism, if that's involved with this. I don't know how racism has anything to do with COVID-19, but ultimately hate is one of the deadliest viruses here in America. Yeah, I know COVID-19 is deadly too, but hate is actually even more deadlier. I mean, I'll be honest. When you are really gonna throw hatred out there and for like, for like somebody and that stuff, I just want to ask, the real question is, how could you actually, not go to sleep in your own in your at night, and not feeling some kind of guilt because you have so much hatred for this person? The big question that people need to ask themselves. Like, how can you live with yourself when all you want to do is go out there and start hating people for, like, stupid reasons, for, like, stupid situations like COVID-19, and, also, hate people of different races. I don't see how you would be able to sleep with yourself at nighttime. I don't know how you could wake up at the end of... I don't know how you could wake up the next morning and that stuff and feel no guilt because of all that hatred that you have for, a lot of people. I don't see how... how you could actually accept being let's see, like being the person who just, hates people for the rest of his life. I don't see how you could live with yourself. I don't see how people would be able to, especially at a job. If you're working at a job and you have, like, so much hatred for, let's say customers of that may be different color than you are, or may be Asian American, Mexican, or, whatever and that stuff. I don't see how you could treat that person, so nicely. If you were, like, hired for a job and that stuff, and you have this kind of, if this situation ever occurred in a workplace and that stuff, and you started treating people of, like, different cultural backgrounds or different races like trash, and they're a customer and that stuff, they won't want to go back to you, and they probably would file a complaint against you as a salesperson, and you could actually end up getting fired from your job and that stuff. But yeah. But yeah, you probably be somebody that would be like, oh, you know what? That stuff. The people that I work with are, complete idiots and that stuff. I mean, I'm my own person. I can just do whatever I want. Or if I want to go, if I, why do people care what I do? Like, why? Like, I mean, seriously, bro. Okay, number one, I would strongly encourage you to stop making excuses that you have the right to go and, hate people for this particular reason and that particular reason and that stuff. It's really pathetic. And I mean that to be honest. It is an absolute dangerous. It's a dangerous virus. Like I said in the beginning, hate is one of the deadliest virus here in America. And the one that should be actually be blamed for letting COVID-19 in here in the United States is the former 45th president of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Because number one, he put the travel ban here in America way too late than it should have happened, because if the travel ban was put in place here in America earlier, and that travel ban was still put in place until these other countries got the vaccine and were vaccinated and came here in the United States, this stuff, we wouldn't have had to deal with wasting an entire year until now in 2021, where we're just coming out of, facing a deadly virus. And a lot of people are getting themselves vaccinated. And if you're a fellow Trumplican and you don't want the vaccine, then that's your problem. But, you should be, like, really, really upset with, the person who's responsible for letting, COVID here in the United States rather than this Asian hate stuff. Because the former 45th president of the United States had done a lot of damage here in America. He is a racist. When he held one of his campaigns and he was being racial toward to the congresswomen and that stuff, and when they started chanting "Send her back," and that was toward the congresswoman and that stuff, there was a reporter that the next day came into the Oval Office and they asked when they started chanting "send her back" and that stuff, like, why didn't you stop it? And as Trump is known for his lying, he said like, "Oh, oh, I think it did. I, I totally disagreed with it, but why?" But yeah, I think it said something after after they were before they were done chanting, or before they started chanting "send her back" and that stuff. And yeah, I totally disagreed with it. So yeah, um, so yeah, it was a lie. He was making a big excuse, and he was trying to fool people into thinking that he was no racist. But we know everything about the former 45th president of the United States here. So I'm not going to really, I'm not gonna really pretend like none of this ever happened and that stuff. It's all part of US history now and that stuff. And when there's history here in the United States and that stuff, you can't erase history overall, okay? It's not like, you know how COVID-19 came in the United States and people wanted to go back to normal and that stuff, and they started thinking that they started they started acting um they started acting like COVID-19 never existed here in America and that stuff. And the same thing happened with the insurrection. It took like weeks of politicians to actually forget that the insurrection on January 6th ever happened and that stuff. And they thought they could just, erase that history and act like it never happened and that stuff. And that is the stupid Republicans in the Senate right now. Like Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz, when he was being questioned about the insurrection and that stuff, he sat there and he, like, played with his phone and act like that. It was like an expression that said that, no, the January 6th insurrection never happened and that stuff. And the belief that there was, actual voter fraud and that stuff, that's what, that's, the big lie that these Republicans like to push. And they say that Donald J. Trump is the most important voice of the Trumplican Party. That's what they say. But, you know, we cannot erase the history and pretend like nothing ever happened here. We can't pretend that there's racism here in America, and we can't pretend that like Asian crime doesn't exist here. And we can't pretend that the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act has been passed by Joe Biden and erase that history and pretend like nothing ever happened here. That's, yeah, this is a serious issue. And a lot of people like to say and believe and act like nothing ever happened here in the United States. That's the big problem here. Let's say if you were going to go and, visit Japan or, some other country that has, you know, different, different people with, Asian looks and that stuff, they'd probably be very, very scared of you. And why would they be scared of you? Well, I'm pretty sure everybody across the country or across the world is knows exactly what's going on in the United States and that stuff, and they're going to be like, oh yeah, I heard of you people, yeah, um, you people in the United States, I heard everything about what you people are doing that stuff, and you're hating. You ultimately hate people because of COVID-19 and that stuff, and we're terrified that you actually traveled across the country and came to our place and that stuff, and you know I don't think um I don't see how people could you know stop the hatred. It's a really deadly virus, and I really this is what the people need to do. They need to quit the hatred, and they need to uh I imagine that when arrests are made because of people who are getting reported because by Asian Americans or you know different um different Asians of different countries report the Asian hate to you and that stuff, and then imagine if you have to face jail time for that and that stuff. You could feel guilty because you got caught, that stuff, but deep down, you're probably going to be like, oh, the person deserved this, and that stuff. And it's no, it's like at the end of the day, you'd probably be sleeping in your jail cell and, probably wouldn't be able to like live with yourself anymore. If you're somebody that ultimately hates, um, if you live with hatred and that stuff, and you go on and hating with people and that stuff, I am gonna end the video by saying I don't see how you could live with yourself, and it needs to end. The more that this Asian hate crime happens and that stuff, you could possibly be facing jail time. If you get reported for this Asian hate crimes and that stuff, justice would be served. You would get, you would probably have to serve, time in, your jail cell. The bottom line, you don't like the COVID-19 hate crimes act that Joe Biden put in place and that stuff? Well, live with reality. That's what I got to say for you in the end of this video. And hopefully, one additional thing I want to say is, you don't want to deal with reality. Too bad. You don't get a choice. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like what's said here, please comment, like, and subscribe to the channel, Charles Morris. And I will see you all in my next video. Have a good day.